Putting in this ceiling is intense. Hey! Welcome back to another installment of my basement series. If you're new here, my name's Marcel. If you did watch my last video, you saw that I put up the wallpaper and finished the fireplace wall, which I love. So now it's time to install the ceiling and the trim. Then I will officially be done with all this construction stuff. I've been trying to figure out what kind of material to put up on the ceiling since the plumbing and the HVAC and all the other inner workings are up there, and we will definitely need to access that sometimes. And I know it would suck if I put up drywall to have to rip it out and patch it back up anytime someone needed to get in there. So I decided to go with those drop ceiling tiles that have that sort of texture on them. I thought it'd be cool to do a play on like an old school material in a contemporary way. And if we ever need to access any of the piping or anything, we could just punch them out and replace them. I'm not going to be using the metal framing that they usually use with these tiles because we just don't have the room for a drop ceiling. So I'm going to be attaching them to the 1x2 boards that are already up there. I know this isn't how you're supposed to do it, so I'm hoping it'll work. First thing I need to do is paint them all. I'm using the same linen white that I used on the soffits. I have to do this upstairs because I am not going to risk getting any paint on the new carpet. I can only do 4 at a time since there's limited space, so this is definitely going to take a minute. Luckily for you, I can edit this down, so let's get to it.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, it's time to start installing the tiles. My gut's telling me that I should use staples for this, but I don't really feel like buying another tool, so I'm gonna use my nail gun. I'm starting on the portion by the bathroom, which is kind of the hardest because of that duct work, but I already measured everything out, made a little template, so now I'm gonna draw it out and cut it, and hopefully it'll fit. My main goal is to not waste a bunch just to make this one tile work, so my fingers are crossed that it's going to. Alright, first thing, the template worked out, which was honestly shocking.
I'm just like, oh my God.
Second, my intuition was right and the nail gun totally doesn't work. So I have to go buy a new staple gun after all. The tiles just don't feel as secure as I was hoping for, and I definitely do not want them falling down. So I'm gonna go get that real quick and then get back to it. The staple gun works so much better. I don't know why I was being so weird about buying a new tool because I'll definitely be using it again. I attached the tiles and kind of went back and redid the ones that felt loose with some 7/8 inch crown staples, and now everything feels super solid. So now that I'm using the right tools and the first side of the ceiling is done, it's time to get to the rest and finish this off. That was intense. My neck is like, no more.
No, ma'am.
No more looking up. But it feels so much better to have all that stuff covered up there. It's finally feeling like a finished room.
Loves that.
I think I went a little ham on the staples, but I wanted to make sure it felt secure, and that's how many it took to get there. Now I'm going to spackle the millions of holes that I made and then caulk around the edges where the ceiling meets the wall, and then I can do the final coat of paint. So I ended up having to do 2 coats. The spackle was kind of showing through with just one, so I did what had to be done. I'm headed to get the wood for the trim, but I have to do one more thing before I can get to that. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a gap in the ceiling where a pipe is mounted too low and I can't tile over it, so I have to work around it. I've been trying to think of a solution that I could use to cover it since I can't nail into it and I'm not even sure that glue would hold, so I think I'm going to use gaff tape. I found a roll that's 1.5 inches wide that's pretty much the exact same color as the paint, so I'm going to try that for now and see how it goes. I don't know if this is the best solution, but it's good enough for now since I want to move on to the other stuff. So if you have any suggestions of what you think could work better, definitely let me know in the comments. Now that I can sit down on this floor with this carpet, I am very happy. So yeah, the tape's up. I wish I had a more solid solution for this, but it definitely looks better and it works for now.
Not a total Betty, but a vast improvement.
But anyway, we're finally moving on to the last thing before this basement reno is finished. And that's the baseboards and the trim. My plan is to paint most of them with the linen white in a satin finish. I'm going to be staining the ones that go on the panel wall, so that way they just kind of blend in. So I'm hoping the stain I got matches pretty good. I already measured, cut, and painted the boards that are going around the walls. I'm not going to go into too much detail about how I did it in this video because I recently made one where I installed a quarter round throughout the house. If you want to see a more detailed process, I'll link that video in the description box below so you can check it out. And yeah, I think that's it. So enough talking, let's install these bad boys. Okay, last step, which is trimming out the panel wall. I'm doing the baseboards and the door frame around the bathroom in a stained wood like I mentioned earlier. I did the same measuring and cutting like I did earlier, but with these I sanded them down, did a coat of stain, and then I did 2 coats of poly to seal the wood. I'm trying not to make this video forever long since I'm doing so much, but if you're curious about that process, I'll link a video below where I did that to the piano bench in the living room so you can check that out. I'm using a pigmented caulk to fill all the nail holes and everything like that, so I'm kind of pumped about it because I've never used one before and I want to see how it goes. And I think that's it. This is the last thing I have to do until the basement is structurally done, so let's get into it. Alright, I just finished putting this light fixture in, which means I'm officially done with the construction side of this basement. I feel like I already talked way too much in this video, so let's take a look. Alright, we made it! If you've been following along this whole time, I hope you like how it turned out. I'm honestly just happy it's finished so that I can start working on the fun design stuff. It's time to really make the 70s basement of my dreams, baby. Next up, I'm going to be putting the chill zone together with the new sofa and the new chairs and the artwork, so that should be fun. I want to hear what you think, so let me know in the comments, or if you have any questions about anything, you can also leave them there. It really helps me and my channel if you give this video a like, so if you feel like doing that, I would totally appreciate it. If you aren't a subscriber yet, you should definitely consider hitting that button because we are just about to get into all the fun stuff. Anyway, I appreciate you watching, especially if you made it this far. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye. I don't know why I was being so weird about buying a new tulle.
I can never show my face in school again.